Hello everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing the last 10 books tag. So this is a video created by Mark Nash. I will leave it linked down below, but I did originally find it on a blog called ZZ with Books, so I will leave that link down below as well. But apparently we're going to have 10 questions talking about the last book in a certain category, and so that is what we're going to do today. So question number 1 is the last book you didn't finish. So my last DNF was back in March, which is good. I haven't had any DNFs in April so far, and it was Model Home by Rivers Solomon. I did talk about it in my last wrap-up, but so basically I've been all over the different ranges with Rivers Solomon. I absolutely love the deep. I was okay with An Unkindness of Ghosts, and I just got to a point with Model Home that I didn't care about the characters, didn't really know what was going on in this whole situation. It was going to be a little bit more horror and things like dealing with family trauma and stuff like that. And I know some people love it, some people hate it. I got to a point where we had a lot of conversations dealing with sexual aspects, and it was very graphic and very dark in a way that I just do not like. So I noped out of it at that point. But because I'm all over the board with Rivers Solomon in general, I'm probably going to be trying more books by this author. This one just didn't really work for me. And because I didn't care about the characters enough at the like 30% mark where I stopped, because of the other stuff that happened, I didn't care enough to get past that and continue. So I did DNF that one. Number 2, the last book you reread. So we're currently doing the 30 and 30 manga challenge in April, and the last one I reread was Your Lie in April Volume 9 by Naoshi Arakawa. I read volumes 1 through 9 back in like 2015, 2016, something like that, and just never finished the last 2 volumes in the series. I am happy to say I have officially finished everything. Partly I didn't finish it originally because I knew it was going to be heart-wrenching and stuff, and it was, but it was still beautiful. I gave a lot of the books in the series 5 out of 5 stars. Some of them I did rate a little bit lower. I think most books in this series range from a 4, 4.5, or 5. So like, again, still very solid. The whole series is dealing with these like prodigies of music, mostly piano. We do have some violins and stuff like that as well, but it's also like a coming of age. The majority of the kids in here are in their last year of middle school, which in Japan is actually like the freshman year of high school here in the States. So they're all in that like 14-year age. And so yeah, I reread this because I definitely needed to, and then I also finished the series. Number 3, the last book you bought. So I'm gonna go with my last pre-order to come in because it literally just came in yesterday, which is Anywhere You Go by Bridget Morrissey. The back says a small town waitress and a big city Broadway press agent swap homes to escape the messiness of their personal lives, only to find new purpose and new love. I do think when this was also on Goodreads or something like that, it was also pitched as like a mix between The Holiday, which is one of my favorite movies, and I think The Swap, which I don't know if I've seen. I think one of the female main characters here is Sapphic or Bi or something like that, because like you see the other potential romances that they're gonna have. One is a guy, one is a girl. So yeah, I'm very excited to get to this one. Number 4, the last book that you said you read, but you didn't. I don't think I've said I read anything that I haven't actually read. I mean, I have a lot of things on my TBR that like I say I'm going to read that I just haven't yet, but I don't think I have anything that I like have actually said, I have read this one, but I didn't. No. Number 5, the last book you wrote in the margins of. I don't annotate. So the last book, and again, we wouldn't necessarily have been writing in the margins the way that we did it, but it would have been in high school, some sort of book that we read for my senior year class, my AP English class most likely. But we did it slightly differently where we didn't actually write in the book. We had a notebook, we would highlight in the book and then also take it to the notebook, have like a piece that you could like have as a quick reference, and then you would write your notes, and then you would go to the next part. So I want to say the ones that we did in that class, maybe like Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. I think we also did like Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I didn't like that one as much as some of the things that we read. We had some other things that I really did enjoy as well. We did some Shakespeare stuff, like Much Ado About Nothing, and I think one of his dramas as well. So I'm gonna say something like that, only because I have never annotated a personal book in my life. Number 6, the last book you had signed. Well, I also recently unboxed a Kickstarter thing for the Guides for Dating Vampires books. And so these are all signed by the author D.N. Bryn. So I actually have 3 of them, but I'm just going to show you this first one here. And if you want to see all the nitty-gritty details, all the special stuff that we got in these, I will leave my unboxing linked. But yes, I recently, like just this last week, got 3 signed books in. Number 7, the last book you lost. I also don't think I've lost a book. Yeah, I really don't think I've ever actually lost a book. Okay, number 8, the last book you had to replace. Okay, so for this one, that's gonna be It by Stephen King, specifically this mass market paperback edition. I will see if I can find the actual picture of this, because this was years ago, but I'm pretty sure I posted it on Instagram somewhere. But I had this mass market paperback edition, like one exactly like this, back when I first read this book in 8th grade. Yes, I know, a little bit too early for a lot of the stuff in here. I was not the only 8th grader reading this. But it's like a nice, easy size. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a compact size for this huge, massive book. This is over 1,000 pages here. The pages are like Bible thin. They are so thin, and the font is very tiny. But I had this since 8th grade, so I would have been like 13. And I had it up until my 20s, I want to say. And for some reason, I think because it was in a backpack, like I used to read this book like once a year, every year, it was damaged. It was inked on and drawn on and water damaged at one point. I don't know if that was me or somebody else, but my edition, the spine was horribly cracked. Like it was just like well loved, let's just say. And so it got to a point where I was like, I need a new edition. And I wanted the same one. I do have like a trade paperback, but I do find this one easier to read just because it's not as hefty, I guess. But so I did replace this a few years ago. That would have been my last time I've had to replace a book. Number 9, the last book you had an argument over. Maybe I'm just on like the good side of BookTube and Bookstagram and stuff, but I don't think I've ever argued with someone over a book. I've definitely like talked about books and things, but I've never gotten to like, oh, this was a bad book and you loved it, or vice versa and you're wrong. I will say I've seen things in the past about some people. Some people obviously do get into fights over books. I have not. But the one thing that comes to mind that I feel like this is almost in the spirit of is this is back like right before I started my own BookTube channel. So this was probably like 8 years ago or so. I have obviously made my love for the All for the Game series, the Foxhole Court series by Nora Sakavic, known. I know those books are messy and dark and stuff like that. Well, I remember watching a booktuber who was reviewing the, I don't know, I think it was like the first book of the series. Like it wasn't even the whole series. And I will tell you, the first book is not the best out of the series. I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad, but it has lots of dark stuff in it. It has things that are excused that shouldn't be excused. But this booktuber, instead of having criticisms of the actual story, basically said that the story and writing were trash, and anybody who loves it, your opinion is trash and you are a trash person because this is trash. And it was like a rant about that. And I do feel like if I would have met that person in person and they would have gone on that, I would definitely have had an argument over a book series, mostly just because like, and I will tell you, I unsubscribed instantly after that happened because it was just like, you can have differing opinions over books and things like that. And I know there's people that have said, like, the Fourth Wing series, Rebecca Yarros, the writing is trash. And again, I do feel like some of these people are getting a little bit close to that, and the people that love it is trash. But I feel like there are opinions on what good writing is. Like, yes, maybe there is an objective, like, good writing, but like, I as a person do not have the brain capacity and the wherewithal to enjoy sometimes the good writing books. I just want to enjoy the characters and the plot more than the writing. And so me loving something, writing doesn't really come into it unless it is a style I don't like, which is sometimes the good writing, or it's like objectively horrible. Like the tenses are wrong, the word usage of the different verbs and stuff is wrong. That I think you can tell is not good writing, you know what I mean? So like people that complain about Fourth Wing or All for the Game and call it trash because of certain things, but then intending it to also mean like, if you like this, you are wrong, I can't stand. So those kind of things, if I actually met somebody in real life, I think I would have those arguments. Besides that, like I said, I think I'm on the good side of BookTube and stuff because I haven't really gotten into any sort of conversations over books with people except for to like actually talk about things that we like, which is great. And then actually number 10, the last book you couldn't get a hold of. Okay, so for this one, I think I'm also gonna go in a manga direction because this is what I'm thinking of currently. So again, I'm in the 30 and 30 manga challenge right now, but I also was doing this last August, September probably, because that's the one that has 30 days. And I read the first 4 volumes of Tokyo Tarareba Girls by Akiko Higashimura because I owned them and they were on my TBR and they had been on my TBR for a while. And I think I gave the first 2 books like 4 stars and I gave books 3 and 4 5 stars. And I absolutely love it. And I need to know where this is going. I cannot find these books at my local bookstores anywhere right now. I could very easily buy them online, even through Barnes & Noble or something, not necessarily like Amazon, which I do try to avoid for books. But I could do that. However, I've just been sort of like on the lookout in person, I guess. My library also only has the first 4 volumes of this, but I own those already, so like my library doesn't have it, the bookstores near me in person don't have it, and yes, I do want to continue in this, but I was apparently just not trying to buy them to be shipped. So this is something I could get my hands on. However, it is something that sticks out in my mind a little bit as like the I couldn't get a hold of it because I actively tried multiple times and I couldn't get a hold of it. I could. If I really went online and I really wanted to do that, I could get a hold of it, but that's where my mind went. And then that is the whole tag. I haven't tagged anybody in my tags in a while just because I do feel like sometimes anybody that wants to do this can be tagged. But otherwise, I know I've seen some of my friends doing some videos recently that I just, you know, like maybe this would be a good thing to do. It wasn't too hard to do, didn't take too long to do. So I'm going to tag Nikki from Nerdy Nikki, Kirsty from K-Beth Bookish, Ren from The Reading Ren, Nat from Nerdy Nat Reads, and Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe. Like I said, this is just some of the people that I watch, but at the same time, I know that I've seen you guys doing stuff recently, and I feel like a book tag used to be a bigger thing a while ago and has sort of fallen by the wayside, but I do still find them fun to do, especially since I did not pre-look up the questions for this before I started filming. So I was surprised by my answers as much as you were. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!